What's up, everyone? Back with another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at and showing you guys my Batman New 52 custom bound collection. This includes all of Scott Snyder's Batman run, Batman and Robin by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason, as well as Detective Comics, The Dark Knight, and 3 spin-off volumes being Nightwing, Grayson, and Batgirl, all of which from the New 52. These were all bound at Houchen Bindery throughout the course of a few years. With a grand total of 11 Batman volumes and 3 spin-off volumes. Maybe more one day in terms of the spin-off volumes. But as of right now, this is, at least especially for Batman, that being the finished set. The first set here, as you can see, is the beginning of it. I wanted to bind these in chronological order, so it started at the beginning with 0 Year, going through some Detective Comics to build up to the Court of Owls, as well as Death in the Family, to the Requiem story arc for Robin. I also included Batman Eternal in there. We have Endgame here, Robin War, as well as Batman Robin Eternal was included in finishing out the New 52. And then there's also 3 spin-off books here, which I just got back recently, using the same style as the Batman ones. On the spines, we have the DC logo. We have the contributing main writers and main artists on each volume, as well as a volume title and number. And each sort of set has its own connecting spine, as you can see. That's the Graveyard Shift. That is, I think, one from Requiem. The one on this is Batman Eternal #1, and then that is, I think, the cover to Bloom, and then this is an artwork of Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, as it's sort of a Nightwing Batgirl, not really trilogy, but just those series. Anyway, I think we should dive right in and take a closer look at these books. So, starting things off, of course, we have to start with Volume 1, 0 Year, with Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Danny Miki, and Tony S. Daniel. This is the beginning, or as I put it, for the beginning of the New 52 for Batman. The legend begins. Each volume has a write-up on the back, and it says what's included. I did this years ago, so this was the first custom bind that I did. This in volumes 2 and 3. So I didn't really know 100% what I was doing, and I wanted to start binding with a series that, if I messed it up, I could get the books pretty easily. These were all bound at Houchen, and I think most of these were done using Overstone binding, which they no longer have. These 3 were done using DFAB, the Nightwing, Grayson, and Batgirl, because they got rid of Overstone. But their DFAB now is like really good. It's better than their Overstone binding. But this volume was when I didn't prep the books, so title pages are everywhere, as well as you'll find extras in the middle of the volume and not at the end, where I put all the extras at the end of each book. But yeah, the whole main point of this series was to treat the New 52. Here's an example of it. Here's a title page for Detective Comics, the first volume, in the middle of the book. And then just do some extras from 0 Year. Whereas now, I wouldn't do that, and I would have all the extras at the back. There's videos out there, also an ad here. I would have taken that out now, as well as that ad page, but that's okay. Like, these are the first binds that I did, so it's not a huge deal. On to Volume 2, Order and Chaos. This is where we get into Batman and Robin with Peter Tomasi, Patrick Gleason, Francis Smith, Brian Buccellato. This volume or I should say the last volume included all of 0 Year, as well as I think the first 2 trade paperbacks of Detective Comics. And this one is the start of Batman and Robin, and it skips ahead in Detective Comics. That was the reading order I followed, because those stories were a lot more self-contained. But this is a new dynamic duo. This one's a smaller book. Again, with this first set, I was testing sizes, so Volume 2's smaller, Volume 1's like a good medium size, and Volume 3 is a lot thicker. But this has looks like Gothtopia. It skips volumes 3 and 4, because I think these stories are a lot more isolated. And I think this is volumes 5, 6, and 7 of New 52. And I think it ends off with, Batman and Robin, which is honestly the best series out of the New 52 for Batman, is Batman and Robin. So the reading order is a little weird, and especially in some of these event books, like this one right here, Night of the Owls, there's a lot of double dipping between issues. Yeah, back with the Kirk Kiefer, the Night of the Owls. This one is, for a while, was the thickest custom bind that I've done. And I said I'm not going this thick again, but with the Green Lantern ones I did. But the binding's a lot better now. But this has all the tie-ins. There's a lot of double dipping in this one, because I didn't want to tear apart my trade paperbacks and like remove the covers. I wasn't too sure how to do that, but now I know how to do it. It's very easy, and it's honestly, you get a lot better results and so much more control over it. And this one starts out with Volume 2 of Batman and Robin Pearl, and then it has the crossovers with Night of the Owls, and then it gets into the actual Court of Owls storyline. It has the Night of the Owls event book, and I think Volume 2, which it just repeats like all the issues, but I think it had one extra issue, so I threw it in there. Again, if I were redoing these now, I would have fixed that, and I've thought about that, redoing them, but I don't know, it's just not worth it, because I spent so much on these, and I love looking at them. And it's just kind of like a cool reminder of what I did when I was younger. This is Volume 4, Death in the Family. I'm trying to get the balloon to sort of like chill out right now. Scott Steiner, Greg Capullo, Peter Mossy, Patrick Gleason, Death of the Family. I love that cover. Another one of my favorite parts of custom binding books is you can pick the covers you want. Knock, knock. This one has a similar problem to the Night of the Owls one, where a lot of the issues end up repeating, because this has Batman, Death in the Family. It has the Joker, Death of the Family event book. And then it also has, I think, the Batman and Robin book as well. So, but yeah, the best part about it is really just picking the covers and making like really nice looking stuff. But I've learned a lot since these. Maybe one day I'll redo them, but I don't know. Because one thing, this is Requiem Volume 5. Peter Mossy, Patrick Gleason, John and David Finch. This one contains a lot of Detective Comics. Done. And this is when Robin dies. But it doesn't have the incorporated issues, because I have the omnibus. So Robin just like randomly dies. So that's kind of an issue, but that's what I'm thinking. Maybe one day I'll go back and do like the New 52 again. I don't know. Like, okay, it would be cool if I could do the Grant Morrison stuff all on its own and have Batman and Robin. I feel like that's very much part of that, and it's very separate from the Snyder stuff. So I don't know. But this is mostly Detective Comics. Oh no, it has The Dark Knight. This is the first volume of The Dark Knight, which is a cool little anthology series that they did. I sort of had to find a place for these books because they weren't in the reading order I was using, so I just kind of threw them in whenever I wanted. And then we also have some more Detective Comics volumes, and then it ends with Batman and Robin Requiem. So that's volume 5. Then we have one of my favorite volumes, volume 6. Oh, this one's awesome. See what I mean? You can pick whatever cover you want. The Hunt for Robin. This ends out the Batman and Robin stuff, which is, I think I actually like it way better than Snyder's run. I think his run's a little overrated. Dark of the Sun. This has, I forget how much stuff is in it exactly, but most of these have 3 or 4 trade paperbacks, and I just put them in rubber bands and sent them to Houchen, and Houchen took them apart and stuff. Okay, so it starts with Graveyard Shift, which is kind of just like a filler book. And then it gets into the Big Burn, and it's that through the Hunt for Robin and through Robin Rises, which is, the Hunt for Robin was so cool, reading that for the first time. And that ends out Batman and Robin. And then we get into a big event. As you can see here on the spines, there's one extra name on each of these, and that was because there's so many creators working on Batman Eternal. I just kind of had to, I wanted to include a lot more names on it. This is Volume 7, Batman Eternal Part 1. This includes the first half of the story as well as some other stories. I love the artwork on this volume. This has The Dark Knight, and then it has the first 21 issues of Batman Eternal, which is the first half of the story. I love the covers on this. Yeah, it starts off with Dark Knight Volume 3, Mad. These ones are very isolated stories, so they're just kind of like fun little side stuff. It also has Clay. And then you get into the main Eternal story, which was actually a really fun story arc. I found that to be really cool. And then we have Volume 8. This is Batman Eternal Part 2. I love this cover with the Bat family there, as well as the back with Hush. This volume had like a theme of like the color orange. End is near, so it says. And this finishes out Batman Eternal, and it also has the Arkham Manor 6 issues in it. So these two read really well because there's not a lot of like issues repeating, but well, yeah, this is, there's the cover. Batman Eternal, the whole chunk of that. So the reading order in these gets a lot better as it goes. It makes more sense, I think, because I've sort of had a better understanding of it. Then we have Volume 9, Endgame. This is a variant cover. Absolutely love this cover. This one is the smallest of all of these. I love the back cover too. I had to use it. But this has Endgame, all the tie-ins, as well as one of my favorite Batman stories, Cycle of Violence, which is the opening story in this book. One of the best Scarecrow stories. It's The Dark Knight, New 52, Volume 2. It's got twisted artwork. It's really cool. And then it's, yeah. And I didn't even use Volume 7 of Batman. Because the Joker Endgame, like, event book had all the Batman issues, so I just used that instead. And then this has the start of the Jim Gordon sort of era as Batman. Then we get into one of the newer ones. This one is Robin War. This one really isn't a Batman book, but I use it as volume 10. Love the covers on these. And they sort of, again, this one sort of has a theme of blue and orange. All Out War. This is Robin War, and as well as Batman and Robin Eternal. I put all of that in one big book. So this book is the Robin sort of takeover. The series. So it starts off with Robin War, and then it gets into Batman and Robin Eternal, which Bruce Wayne is in, but he does not play like a huge role in. That's also a really fun story because it's, like I said, it's focusing on all the Robins instead of Batman, because he's out doing other stuff. But that one, I just wanted to include all of those together, even though some of the books in this take place at the same time as that. I wanted to have that just be that, and then this just be all the last chapters of it. So this is another variant cover. Absolutely love that cover. I had to use it. The last chapters, finishing out Detective Comics and finishing out Snyder's run on Batman, and also starting with the first issue of Rebirth, which I did want to have in here. It's in here a couple of times because, again, even these ones I did not prep. But this starts off with Blood of Heroes, which I think takes place at the same time as Robin War. But yeah, then it has Bloom and the ending of the New 52, as well as the beginning of Rebirth. So it's as it's called, the last chapters of the New 52. Then these next three are the spin-offs that I did. These volumes I did prep, meaning I moved the title pages away so they're not interrupting the story, and I also removed some of the ads for other books, and I put all the extras at the back. These ones I just got back the other day. This is Nightwing, the Prince of Gotham, Kyle Higgins, Brett Booth, Will Conrad, Eddie Barrows. There is an omnibus of this, but I wanted to have it match with my other books, and I absolutely love the cover. I had to use that. Traps and Trapezes. This is Nightwing in its entirety. The 5 trade paperbacks. You see the spine is issue 1. And this one is DFAB binding, and I did prep it, so there's the first title page, and you won't see any title pages until the end of the book. So this has the entirety of Nightwing, and then I'll just show the back to show you what I mean. So there's the rest of the story, and then soon we'll get into the extras. There. All the extras are together, and then all the title pages I throw at the end as well, just so I know like what was included in here. Then something called Forever Evil happens, and Dick Grayson becomes an agent of Spiral. Grayson, agent of Spiral. Tim Seeley, Tom King, Mikael Janin, and Stephen Mooney. There's also an omnibus of this one, but I wanted my own. This one's a pretty small volume. Secret Super Spy. Love the covers on this. And then the one on the side is, I think, one of the first issues. No, I don't think it's issue 1, but... And this, same thing as Nightwing. It's that full series, no interruptions, but all the The extras are at the end of the book, and it's the full Grayson series. Variant covers and extras, and then there's all the volumes. Just throw those at the end. I think I did cut out some of the Robin War stuff that was in there, because I had some of those issues, so I cut those out just because I have a book on that. And then we have another really big one. This is Batgirl. This is issue 1, Returns. This is the main Batgirl series, all 5 volumes. Gail Simone, Ardian CF, Daniel Perry, and Fernando Passarin. Batgirl Returns. This is also an omnibus. Yeah, a lot of this is collected in omnibus, but I like my version of it better. Batgirl. This is a big one, but this has the entirety of that series. It's a thick book. And then I'll just show the back again, because I did that. Extras are all together. Variant covers, and then title pages on the back. I always put a title page at the front, as you saw, of usually the first volume. This is volume 1's title page, and then it just hops into that, and then all the others are at the back. But anyway, it's finally about time I do this video, but the new 52 custom mount collection is finished. They all have ribbons. Look at those things sticking up. Bound at House and Bindery. These things look awesome. If I were to do more, there is the Burnside Batgirl, but I heard that's a lot more like kiddish, so I don't know if I'm gonna get that to bind it and just like have it. But Nightwing, Grayson, and Batgirl, I'm really excited to read those, and how they're in the same style. Everything's in the same style. It looks really cool. But anyway, leave a like on the video for more content with comic books, and subscribe for more stuff. Have a good one.